Welcome everyone to the Pommy and Fazz EPL show, week 1 in the books. No real shocks as always, though. I am joined by the legend that is Fazz. Fazz, how are you doing?
Very, very good. And exactly what you said. Opening round, really no shocks. Actually, no shocks at all. I think it was a quality round. Teams look good. Injuries starting to creep up a little bit on some teams, early niggles, but no, really looking forward to getting stuck into it.
Well, I mean, it was a good week, wasn't it? I got a win. You got the draw, which
Yep.
we predicted. So everyone's unbeaten at the start of the year. Let's, as Robbie says hello to us, let's have a look at last week. I mean, City, they came out strong, didn't they? They started as they mean to go on. Haaland got a bollocking for scoring a first half brace. Pretty easy, isn't it, for City?
Light work, mate. Light work. They did the business. Again, we spoke about it. Little injuries. De Bruyne going down is it's pretty big for them. But as Pep mentioned, they'll just get another one in and they'll move on in happy days. And probably get someone even better. Who knows? Who knows what they'll do? But yeah, they did. Light work. What we expected. But I think Burnley made a few good chances. They can walk away from it knowing they can snag a result in the coming fixtures.
Well, that first half, Burnley really took it to City. Vincent Kompany, we did say he doesn't die trying. They took it to City. Do you know what I mean? A bit more quality. They could have maybe pulled that to 2-1 at halftime.
I couldn't agree more. And I think Burnley's going to be that interesting team. And this is going to sound quite strange when I say it, but bear with me. I think against high attacking teams and high press teams, they're actually going to look okay. I think Burnley are going to struggle against your mid-range, high defensive teams, the counter-attacking teams, like a West Ham, for example, who'll just sit back, absorb, and then smoke them on the counter. Because I'm not too sure that their back four are going to be able to handle real quick counter-attacking football. So they could be a bit of that anomaly team that we've seen before, where they do look better against the bigger clubs, but will struggle against those mid-table, real defensive, your Evertons, your real lockdown type teams.
Yeah, they remind me a bit of Bielsa's Leeds.
Yeah,
I reckon we're going to see 37 games of over 2.5 goals every game with Burnley. I reckon they're going to be cut back, but they'll score goals as well.
Yeah, they're going to be fun to watch.
And then probably the surprise, the reigning runners-up, Arsenal. They had Forest. Wasn't as easy as I'm guessing we all thought, because we both did tip a big win. But old Timber, he's in Fazz's fantasy team. He had a good 10-minute cameo. Never to be seen again.
Oh, mate. Old Shiver Me Timber going down 50 minutes into his Arsenal debut and ACL. And that's what we're talking about. Big signing for them. Really good player going down 2-1. This was the surprise. Arsenal happy with the 3 points. You bank the 3 points, you move on. But I thought Forest were pretty good for a point late in that game. And they're talking about counter-attacking goal. Their goal was just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous to watch. And I thought they were good to get an equaliser late. But to Arsenal's credit, they held on and they'll probably be back in the market for another centre back now.
Is it too early for Arsenal to be worried that City won their potential banana skin almost at a canter, and Forest held Arsenal at home? To be fair, for parts of it, it was a banana skin, wasn't it, as well? Forest, in another day, if that was a Shaun Dux team, one of them set pieces would have gone in and it was 2-2.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, maybe a little bit too early to worry about that, but we know what it's like. Early points are vital, and there's some pretty tasty fixtures coming up, so early points are vital. And a big shout out to Zachy Bell. Love you, mate.
Big Zach Bell. He's missed us. We've missed you, mate. And Bournemouth hammers the mighty West Ham. More outs than a Carlton round 12 fixture. Much changed team, but I tell you what, no mean feat. Bournemouth may be frowned upon by some people, but it's a tough place to go and probably a fair result. That was actually probably the tie of the round because that was 50-50 the entire game.
From a neutral, if you were watching, it would have been a pretty good game to watch. Like all 1-1 draws, like all 1-1 draws, one team will feel like they lost, the other team felt like they gained. West Ham 1-0 up, going late, absolute monster goal from Jarrod Bowen, continuing his best form after winning the European trophy. And then for a mistake at the back, well, not even a mistake, just a deflection at the back to fall for Solanke and rounds the keeper and goals. Bournemouth would felt like they gained a point. West Ham felt like they dropped 2. But in the end, it is a fair result, 1-1. And I'm not going to stick my nose up at a waypoint early in the season. So I think both teams should walk away pretty happy. West Ham probably felt they probably should have held on.
Can you promise me in every review of a West Ham game you'll drop European trophy? That was so subtle. That was smooth.
Absolutely, I will.
Absolute smooth how you dropped that.
That was pretty good. I was pretty impressed with myself. Just kind of
mate, he made me chuckle straight away. I was like, he's got it in early doors. It's in. Well, I mean, we both really like this team, Brighton, and De Zerbi continue his no-nonsense approach. I know we're going to come to Newcastle in a minute. I actually was the most impressed by Brighton out of any side this week. I thought Brighton looked tasty.
Oh, they're a good team to watch. Hard to know what Luton are about at the moment, but Brighton, very, very good team to watch. Just keep doing it, don't they? They just keep finding these players. Lose Casiedo, no worries. You know what? They just find a way to find these players, and they're the envy of the competition as far as their recruiting and scouting goes. They were impressive. But I will have a caveat on that is I'm still not too sure what we can expect from Luton. What I do assume is this won't be the last 4-1 or 4 goals that they ship this season. I've
got to say that with all due respect to Luton, I looked at that team and that is a League One team.
Yeah, it's
in
wild.
The Premier. It had a vibe of an FA Cup 4th round. Like that, it was a massive mismatch.
Definitely, it definitely didn't. Look, they've signed, I think, Tim Krul, so good bit of experience at the back there, but it's going to take a little bit to get used to Luton. Even looking at their emblem is different. Do you know what I mean? It's going to take a bit to get used to them, and I think they're going to take a bit to get used to the league as well. So, look, they got their goal. That monkey off the back, their first Premier League goal. I'm not hopeful for them, but yeah.
It's going to be a long time. It's going to be a long season for them. But like you said last week, just enjoy it.
Enjoy it, mate. It's where you want to be. Enjoy every minute.
And a team that probably have been in the Premier League too long, Everton, at home, Goodison Park, Fulham showing the Premier League experience, scratchy game, could have gone either way, really. It's not really the most fairest result, but Fulham get the chocolates with Mitrovic on his way out, so we can't look like fools anymore. But Fulham snagged the win.
Yeah. Fulham Shaun Dyche, to be honest. It was. I don't think it was fair to Everton. I thought they played okay. It was probably this and the next game were probably the 2 mundane games of the round. Gee whiz. I mean this with all respect to Everton fans, but if that's going to be them at home, I don't think I'm going to be getting up to watch too many of their games, just quietly. That's going to be a bit of a one of those 9-minute highlight things I think I'll check most weeks. That was dull. Sorry, but yeah. But Shaun Dyche.
Dyche isn't known for his sexy football, let's be honest. But probably the highlight of this Sheffield United Crystal Palace game was 85-year-old Roy Hodgson getting into a fist fight with the Sheffield United right winger. But Crystal Palace, they've had a big boost. Elise has turned down the Riches. He looks like their star man. Palace get the win, and Bramall Lane looks a tough place to go. Sheffield United look like they're a proper tough side to break down.
Yeah, I thought that was stiff. To be honest. This probably deserved to be a draw, but again, Jordan Ayew unlocking the defense and a good finish. These two teams they're not going to really feature, I think, much high up the table or whatever. They're going to get a lot of these scrappy results, I think. Huge result for Palace after already losing Zaha in the window for Elise to stay on. As we all know, the Reading legend that he is, for him to stay on, I think that's huge for them. And if they've got Eze, they got him, they've got Jordan Ayew who can put a ball in. I can see them scoring some goals, but I mean, their biggest challenge is going to be making sure Roy Hodgson was where he is most weeks. So, yeah, dangerous.
Roy Hodgson just needs to remember to get on the coach. Newcastle, though, they arrived with a bang. I mean, it took Tonali, their big summer signing, about 5 minutes to prove he loves Geordie land. That was a hell of a celebration. But Eddie Howe, they're humming now. It's like the old Bournemouth fast tick-attack of football. And they destroyed Aston Villa. They were mighty impressive.
Oh, mate. Aston Villa are kind of lucky that we're talking about how impressive Newcastle are, because reality is this is pretty disgraceful from Villa. But Newcastle just powerful, sexy. Isak, he's going to bang in goals. I just think this has Eddie Howe just feet up, cigar out, mate. What a game that from them. In my opinion, the most impressive team of the round. But equally, I'll say this: Villa, the fixture coming up for them this week is huge, because if they put another performance like this, then you start saying, well, it's not looking like, doesn't look good. You don't want to go too early, but dropping 5 goals in your first fixture is that's diabolical for them, who I think should be in the top 6 or 7.
They're definitely a side that needs top 10 finish, aren't they, really?
Absolutely.
You'd be expecting Emery. That's their past score, isn't it, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Problem signs, but the return of Post. We wanted to see Ange Ball. He entertained. He went away to Brentford, which we know is a tough place to go. If you're a United fan, you hate that stadium. Tell you what, I'll give Ange this, right? The South Melbourne 3-time NFL winner. Four. Do you know what I mean? The Jose of the Neefle. They played some real aggressive football, and it was entertaining to what I really enjoyed this game. Like, I watched this game and I was like, fuck, Ange has got Spurs from that Conte stagnant ball being real counter-pressing and devil-may-care attitude. He made a bold substitution. He showed his hand sub-Son at half-time. So he showed that he belongs. It was a tough game, but there's signs there for Spurs, I thought. I thought Spurs saw what they're about. They're going to play football the right way.
Yeah, look, it'll be good for their fans. Their fans will enjoy it because they'll play attacking football. They'll score goals. I am really, really concerned about their defense. I think that they're going to bleed some goals. But with the way they've been playing, I can see Richarlison having a great season because it really falls into his type of game. So that might end up being not a bad signing in the end. But their defense is a bit worrying for me.
Well, I mean, they were hurt where they were. I mean, one of the highlights of this for me was Romero scoring going off with concussion, and then them filling out the wrong sub card.
Yeah.
Which is probably the most Spurs thing I have ever heard in my days. When that came up on the tannoy that they'd filled out the wrong card, I couldn't stop laughing, I've got to admit. But good start
classic.
for Ange. Tough
yeah,
point.
Yeah. Solid. Yeah, good point. Gained the point. Never scoff at an away point.
Hey, you don't know. And then Chelsea, liver scum. This game had all the hallmarks of a cracking encounter. Both sides with a lot to prove after a bad 2022 season, and shared the points and it wasn't really anything to take out of this to see if they've got better or they've stayed the same.
To me, this was one of the hardest games to pick up who's who in the zoo. You know what I mean? Like it was a game where I still don't know. Are either of these teams top four material? I think Chelsea are signing, I don't know, anyone who's got two legs at the moment. So their squad's going to be stacked. I just don't know. Like to me, it was a nothing game. Like it was a bizarre game. It was really bizarre. I can't pick it. I don't know who deserved to win this or who didn't deserve it. 1-0 is probably fair. In fact, to be fair, 0 would probably be a fair result. Let's see. They've got their point. Both of them go into the next fixture, and let's just see what happens. But I'm a bit of a watch this space on these two teams at the moment. I'm not going to make a judgment just yet. Who would be happier? I guess Liverpool would be happier getting a point at Stamford Bridge, but yeah.
It did feel like both sides didn't want to lose that game. In the last 20 minutes, it did have a feel that this 1 point is better than a point lost.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it felt like.
Interesting to see how it goes. And then we finish with my team, Man United. A moment of genius from Rafael Varane. Was there a penalty? Onana welcomed himself to the penalty league and the Premier League with the clothesline from hell. Somehow got away with it. Maybe early signs for United that they still struggle to put away shit sides.
Absolutely. That's to me, the Wolves are probably one of the worst teams in the Prem, and they held strong to their credit. They went there with a plan and it nearly came off. Was it a penalty? Yes. Yes, it was. And it was proven because I'm pretty sure the refs got the sack for this week, didn't they? The refs and the bloke on the VAR all got the sack for this week. So, yeah. Hey, you need luck, mate. No one's going to remember that at the end of the year. You need the luck, and they got the goal, and yeah.
It was a bullet header, though, to be fair, from Varane.
It was a great goal. And I think, again, United will want to improve on their performance for the next fixture. So, but hey, you got the 3 points, and that's all that matters. Get the 3 points and move on. Home wins.
Hey, and Onana, he starts his year cheating, which is what you love to see. But we have a load of transfers since last week, and
yes,
we start with the loan to buy David Raya, the Brentford legend. 3 million is the initial loan fee, rising to 27 million. He's seasoned, isn't he? 64 appearances in the Premier League, 20 clean sheets in a side with all due respect to Brentford, not a top class back line. And I look at this one here, and I know there's Arsenal fans out there saying Ramsdale is our number one. I don't feel, because Arteta's come out and said no one's number one in my position. I am really watching this to see World Cup coming up. Ramsdale wants to play. Do you know what I mean? Euros are coming up. Ramsdale will want to play to get that number one spot, because you'd imagine Pickford's going to hemorrhage goals. But Raya as well, he's not there to make up the numbers. I think this is an interesting predicament at Arsenal, but great signing on face value.
Yeah, look, great signing. We spoke about it a bit last week. I think this signing could cause problems. Arteta clearly wants a ball-playing goalkeeper, that's exactly what Raya is. I think he'll overtake Ramsdale quicker than what people think. But the other thing as well, where I've kind of changed my tune a little bit, where last year I was a bit critical of it, seeing the players go down with injury, like De Bruyne and old Shiver Timber over there at Arsenal, that'll never get old. It's a shame he's injured because I want to keep saying it. You need quality backup. I mean, heaven forbid, touch wood or whatever, if Ramsdale goes down and gets injured, then they've got a solid keeper. And I think that's what's the difference. Having these good players as the depth. So should they get a serious injury, then they've got the strong coverage. So like Timber's gone down and they've got to go back in to the market for another centre back. I mean, that's a killer. Where now they've got their two keepers, go with it. And if the messaging was clear to both boys, then they shouldn't throw the toys out of the cot. But you just never know with Premier League players. You just never know.
I'll call it now. End of the year, whoever is the number one keeper, the other one's going to be hot property.
Absolutely. Especially if Ray is the number one keeper and Ramsdale being English, teams are going to get their quota. There'll be a few teams out there probably sniffing around at him.
I'm actually sad about this one because I love Ramsdale.
Yeah, same.
I love him. I'll be sad if they stop him being number one. There's something about him. I kind of like him.
Well, other than the fact that he's got a face like a slapped ass, I actually really like him as a keeper. But can the bloke smile? I mean, mate, you're on 200 grand a week playing football in the easiest position on the ground. Mate, everyone jump on Google Aaron Ramsdale. If you can find me a photo of him smiling, I'll jump, mate. Like he's just miserable all the time.
Gotta say, but I mean, Fazz, we've both played football. Do you remember any happy keepers?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely like most not. Of them are miserable bastards. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Right. That's a good call.
And then the Dolly Parton of the Premier League returns. The man who's everything up top, nothing down below, comes on a free. Adama Traore. I forgot he existed. 194 games, believe it or not. He's been in the EPL a while. 10 goals, 15 assists. He joins on a free, which I thought was very good business because this time last year, there was rumours that Barca were going to pay 15, 20 million for him. Premier League experience straight into the Fulham side. He knows what it is. I have question marks about this guy's ability, though. But good signing on paper.
Look, it's squad depth. Him coming off the bench causes havoc for most, left backs or even centre backs when he's running at him. He's very quick. I think it's a good signing for Fulham. I think it's a good signing. He'll get minutes. He'll play, and he'll cause havoc when he comes on. But one thing I wanted to mention: if you saw Fulham's announcement video for him, they announced it with a bottle of baby oil sitting with a chair, and I just thought that is next level because, like, he's always looking shiny, like always oiling up those muscles, and they announced it with the baby oil. I thought that was peak. But no, good signing.
He's got the best rig in the Premier League without a shadow of a doubt, hasn't he?
Oh, mate, rig. He's not a Premier League rig, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, it's a decent signing, and then we get some more exciting ones. Japanese international Wataru Endo makes his way over from the Bundesliga, and big signing for them, isn't it?
Yeah, big signing, good player, and I think Premier League teams are getting smarter, trying to tap into the Asian market as well, not just for the quality players, but the fact of him going to Liverpool, whether we like it or not, one of the biggest clubs in the world, from one of the most populated countries in the world. That's shirt sales, mate. Shirt sales. That 15 million has already paid for itself, guaranteed. The shirts bought, and that's what it's all. That's not what it's all about. But that's sometimes you make those decisions. I think it's a great signing. I think he's a good player. But the marketing side of it is just going to be insane.
Well, I mean, it's good for Liverpool to get something across, hasn't it? Because they have had they have had a bad window. Like everyone, like it started off really well as well. Like I thought Liverpool, they'd gone about their work, they've got the players in that they needed. And then Chelsea came across, and Chelsea, it feels like Chelsea over the last 4 weeks have had this idea of, it was like Man City when they first got money. Who's everyone going for? Let's bid 5 million more. And it's good for them to get a deal across. And it'd be interesting to see how this one goes.
It will be. And honestly, it felt like 16-year-old Fazz again. You know, Liverpool just getting rejected by everyone left, right, and centre. So I did empathise with them a little bit. But yeah, it's just it's good for them to get one across. But I'm sure we'll get to Chelsea shortly, because I'm pretty sure you and I are the only people left on the planet that they haven't tried to sign. So we'll see.
We'll go straight on to one of them ex-Liverpool targets, and Caicedo finally made his deal. Jamie Carragher saying that it's the best 95 million you'll ever spend, only for him to go 5 million more to Liverpool, and Carragher to say it's the biggest overspend in Premier League history for an average player. 45 games last year, though, 2 goals, 2 assists, ranked top 10 for CDMs in the Premier League. He's Premier League quality. He's tried to get this move for nearly a year now. He's finally where he wants to be. What do we think about this, though? I have reservations that they only bought Enzo 6 months ago, who plays the same position for the same amount of money. I feel like this is Chelsea buying for the sake of buying.
Yeah. First of all, we'll talk about Caicedo first. Absolute world class player. He's going to do special things. Talk about the comparison with him and Declan Rice and all that. Like Caicedo, he is world class, and I think any team would be crazy not to try and sign him, right? So we'll say that about Caicedo. Now you get to Chelsea, and exactly what you said, the money they've been spent. What does this mean for some of their players? And not just Enzo, I'll use Gallagher as well. You know, Chelsea knocked back a £40 million bid for him. Well, what does it mean for Gallagher? He's not going to get games now. So they're going to have a glut of these players that are simply not going to get the minutes. And that'll cause problems, first and foremost. But I think they've got to start selling these players. Now, Conor Gallagher is a perfect example of loan him out to Palace, bring him back. He played like a handful of games, rejected. You either want this kid or you don't. Don't send him out on loan again. Sell him. Do you know what I mean? Because you clearly you've shown your hand, Caicedo for 100 million. I don't know what Chelsea's plan is. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be a recognizable plan at the moment.
Well, I mean, we always talk about it. To win the Champions League, you need a deep squad. Oh, wait a minute. Unlucky Chelsea. No Europe for you. Got a big squad, though, for the Carabao Cup. It is interesting, though, like you say, because it didn't stop there as well. If having 6 CDMs wasn't enough, they went out and bought a 7th this morning. Honestly, as a Man United fan who had to wait 10 years for a CDM once Roy Keane was sold to Celtic, the fact that they've bought 10 in about 2 years is starting to make me sick. But Romeo Lavia comes over from Southampton, who have done some real good business in the Championship, and I think have got probably overs for this fella. But 29 100%. Games last year, he did look okay. Proper old school CDM as well. He'll protect the back four. 58 million, which is probably added with future scope, but he comes across, which was a weird signing, I thought.
I don't get it. I don't get it for him, and I don't get it for Chelsea. Now, if he's worth 58 million, then Caicedo's worth 250 million, right? So that is way overpriced for him. Good player, good tidy player. Love the work that he did, but he did get relegated. Remember, Okay, so I think a lot of people are forgetting that. And granted, yes, Southampton probably had a gash team. 1 goal, 0 assists. I know it's a CDM. I know that's not what you wanted to do. He's not going to play. He's not going to play for Chelsea. I don't know what. I'd like to speak to him and say, why? Sure, you've gone down with Southampton, and I mean this with all respect. Surely the next step would be a Villa, a West Ham, and please don't. I'm not saying Villa and West Ham are bigger than Chelsea. I'm actually saying the opposite. He's gone the step too soon.
Yeah, he's gone about 4 years too early.
Yeah, he's gone. He should have gone. You look at Brighton, West Ham, Villa, all playing European football, all at a good level above Southampton. It's a step ahead. Go to them, stay there for 2, 3, 4 seasons, play European football, then make your move to Chelsea. What's he going to do? Sit on the bench for 3, 4 seasons until they buy another midfielder? I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get it from Chelsea, and I don't get it from him.
This is what we said last week when we were talking about Caicedo and would you choose Liverpool or Chelsea? Liverpool came in for him after losing Caicedo, after they backed out of the deal originally to go for Caicedo. I do find it weird because I would have thought, Lavia, you look at Liverpool, they definitely need a CDM. And I would have thought if you were going to make that move, Liverpool, you're probably getting minutes. You're fighting Curtis Jones, you're fighting a few players, but you're probably going to be in the rotation. Like you say, at Chelsea, there is about 42 midfielders fighting for 3 midfield spots. And is Lavia at the level to displace them? Probably not. But is he going to get the experience to displace them? Probably not either.
No.
This has, I get sold or on a loan to La Liga this time next year, written all over it.
Mate, in January even, because as you said, they don't have European football. What games is he going to get? The Carabao Cup in Warsaw or the FA Cup? He's not going to get the time or the minutes to displace these teams. And I keep going back to it. I think Conor Gallagher is a better player than him. And Conor Gallagher's not going to get goes. I don't know what their plan or their system is. I don't know what they're thinking. All I'm thinking if I put my West Ham hat on them for a moment is, shit, if I'm Moyes, I'm calling up them and say, I want Conor Gallagher. Here's 45 million for him because he is a super player. And you've just bought Caicedo, Lavia. Like, I don't get it, man. Their under 21s team is going to be fucking stacked. Like,
it's weird that you say that because, yeah, I mean, you would have thought if you're a West Ham, if you're a Brighton even, who's just lost Caicedo, you're on that phone about Gallagher. Like,
100%.
What are you going to do
you
with
have
him?
to be. You have to be. Now, I'm glad that West Ham didn't get involved in this deal. 58 million. He is not worth that. Not by a long shot. So I'm glad. But if you can snag a Conor Gallagher for 40 million, 45 million, that is good business because he's a very good player.
Mate, I agree with Peter as well. It is that it almost feels like it is to piss Liverpool off. Like, because this one here made no sense. Like the Caicedo deal, even though I think it's probably not what they needed today, they've been linked with him forever. So it's obvious they've acquired that player. They need that player. But this one here, why?
Mate, this is 2 billionaires playing at a game. That's what it is. This bloke's playing real life Football Manager.
Well, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting because Liverpool have complained to the FA. So they are going to investigate it. And Robbie, I agree with you. Harry Maguire would be great, but Fazzy's pies, they got a big one across here. James Ward-Prowse comes across. We know the caliber of this man. Staggering 343 games in the Premier League, 49 goals, 38 assists, 30 million, captain of Southampton, over 150 games as a captain as well. You've lost Declan Rice leadership, instantly replaced it with an experienced Premier League leader. I think this could be, and it's not just because you're a West Ham fan, I think this could be one of the signings of the season. Terrific footballer.
The moment Southampton got relegated, I'll be saying you get on that phone and get James Ward-Prowse over. He is a phenomenal footballer. And look at the price, 30 million. Go back to Lavia for 58 million. And I know there's an age difference there. I know he's 28, 29, but that's his prime. He's in his prime now at 30 million, 49 goals, 38 assists from the same team, by the way. And he's gone for 28 million. It makes no sense to me. I think it's wonderful business by West Ham. I think there's something beautifully poetic about it that West Ham lost their golden boy, their captain, their future, everything about it in Declan Rice, only to get Southampton's golden boy. And everyone forgets James Ward-Prowse has never played a game for another team except for Southampton. Never played a professional game for another team except for Southampton. Now he's coming to West Ham. That's a big change for him. So I think there is something beautifully poetic, and my heart does go out to the Southampton fans. They're losing their boy. Their golden boy has been there since he was a kid. This is the Mark Noble of Southampton, and he's coming to West Ham. And I think it's like I said, it's poetic, it's beautiful, and I couldn't agree more. I think this is going to be a monster signing. Very David Moyes. Set pieces, stoppage. You think he scored lots of goals and assists for Southampton. You wait, with the way David Moyes plays, he'll get into double figures of both very quickly.
He reminds me a little bit of the Maddison signing at Spurs, a guy that's probably played for sides not in the limelight per se, but you saw Maddison in the Spurs game against Brentford. The guy's a different gravy. Do you know what I mean? The vision, the ability to thread a pass. I look at James Ward-Prowse, and like you said about Mark Noble, there's a bit of Mark Noble about this guy that he kind of goes understated, but give him an opportunity. This guy's probably got one of the best passes in world football, one of the best set pieces in world football. He's definitely in that upper echelon, that better than average, very good. I think he's a great signing for 30 million. Like, literally, you've replaced Rice with a guy who is a 7 out of 10 every week.
Yep, absolutely. We talk about that high floor prospect, and I think he's very good. And I'm assuming he'll get the captain's armband for the season. Why not? You know, he's a very respected England international. Yeah, I couldn't be happier.
I think that shouldn't be understated as well. You got the Euros coming around the corner. Do you know what I mean? You've had Southgate come out this week and say players like Maguire and Phillips, they won't be selected unless they're playing for football. That Absolutely. They are going to now continue a new cycle, he called it, for the Euros. Players playing regularly. He's probably not had the opportunities at England level that he deserves.
Yeah, it's
staring him in the face now. Good season with West Ham. He could be booking that position in the England team.
Definitely. And obviously we wish him well. I definitely wish him well.
We got your favourite other player here. Reports filtering through just before we went to air that Jesse West Ham Lingard is training with the club and he's set to be offered a 1-year deal with them. But 182 appearances, 29 goals, 14 assists. As a United fan, I fucking love J Lins. Just so you know, I love this kid. I loved him at West Ham when he was there. I absolutely adored him because he got some form and unfortunately scored that goal against you and celebrated like a madman. But J Lins, the return of the Lins. What are you feeling, Fazz?
Welcome home, boy. Welcome home, mate. We West Ham. No. We never sunk the boots in when he left, mate. He was always one of us. I didn't take it personally that he chose Nottingham Forest over West Ham. I didn't, think he was the biggest scumbag on the planet. But hey, he's home now. He's where he needs to be. Look, all seriousness, when you get offered, was it something like 150 grand more a week, you're probably going to choose Nottingham Forest. They offered him a bag. He went there. It obviously didn't go well for him. West Ham it's the type of player. He resurrected his career there. Like, if anyone can't remember, just go on YouTube Jesse Lingard's West Ham highlights when he went there on loan in January a couple of seasons ago, or season and a half ago. Phenomenal. He was incredible. West Ham wouldn't be where... This is going to sound... West Ham would not have won the European trophy last year if it wasn't for him, because we wouldn't have got there in the season without him. He scored 9 goals and 7 assists in 16 games or something. It was ridiculous. It was disgusting how good he was. So hopefully for his sake and for West Ham's sake, he can find that again. I think Jesse reminds me a lot of Dele Alli and a lot of these types of players. He just needs to be loved. I think he just needs to be loved. At United, that's his home. Probably was pushed out by the fans, by the club. Came to West Ham. Moisey put his arm around him, loved him, got the best out of him. Went to Forest, massive squad. Forest, a lot of people forget, massive squad. Probably didn't feel like the big dog. Declan Rice is gone. You've got hard workers in Ward-Prowse, Souček. Jared Bowen's a kind of clean skin, father of twins, does his own thing. Jay Lins can walk into West Ham and he's the big dog. And I tell you what, any fan who criticizes him, which I criticize him, he's back. The minute he scores that first goal, we'll love him again. So welcome home, Jesse, and I hope he does well.
Mate, I want to say something controversial, which maybe sound moronic, but the rumours are it's reaching the 80 million mark, right? Now, I want to go on record, and I agree with you, Robbie, as a United fan, fucking love Jesse. Like, I'm looking forward to watching West Ham games to see Jess. But I will say this, if Paqueta goes for 80 million, that's 180 million with a Rice deal, right? 200 million if you count Skamaka, right? Mm-hmm. I am telling you now, I'll go on record. I actually will say Ward-Prowse and Lingard, I think, is a net gain in output to Rice and Paqueta. Lingard and Ward-Prowse. I would say, and you've got that for 30 million. You find yourself a CDM, you add like a Scott McTominay to that. I don't think that will damage West Ham at all. If anything, it is better offensively, which is, I think, your weakness. Like, if you can somehow snake someone to partner Danny Ings, fuck me, West Ham have got a better side on paper than they did with them 2 players there. I think terrific transfer business.
I think it's a great point. I think it's, we spoke about it with Ward-Prowse. He's going to give you a 7 out of 10 every week. Paqueta is an interesting one. Very high ceiling. He would give you 9s and 10s out of 10s, especially the back end of the season. But gee whiz, early on that season, I remember him giving us 1 and 2s out of 10s. And there's no coincidence that West Ham were struggling, and that coincided with his performances. I do agree with you. The only thing is the age difference. Declan Rice, early 20s, and Paqueta, 25. That's why they're gone for the big money. Where Ward-Prowse, 28, 29, and Lingard obviously 30. So that's the only difference. But I do agree, from pure sheer output with goals and assists, yeah, it is a net gain in that regard. And like I said, West Ham signed that Mexican defensive midfielder, Alvarez. So it's not all doom and gloom. It's not all doom and gloom, but we'll just see. Declan Rice is a good player, but yeah.
No, it's a terrific player. I just think from where you are and the level you are, I don't think it's a massive change, because I think you nailed it. Lingard needs love, right? Yep. He needs love and he needs to play. But I am telling you, Lingard on the ball, with a little bit of love and TLC, guy can change a game, right?
Absolutely. And game changer.
Bowen and Jalen's cutting inside with a through ball from Ward-Prowse. Oh, yeah. It's got 8 goals a year written on it.
Yeah, that's sexy, isn't it? Danny Ings might look like a striker.
Mate, I can see him bringing the ball down on his chest, fucking sending Varane left and bombing it top right against United and giving us a little jig in front of the Stretford end. I can see it.
And for anyone playing at home, a juicy free agent for fantasy, Jesse Lingard.
Mate, it'll be cheap. But I mean, we come to this week and let's look at the games. There's some. I actually think this week is tasty. This week as well, for fixture wise,
tasty.
Because Sheffield United, Forest, people look at it and go, two shit sides. But both sides lost last week. Very impressive in that loss, right? So this could really be the early double 6-pointer. Do you know what I mean? This is the
absolutely.
If Sheffield United win this, they will feel like we've gained that 3 points we needed.
Yeah. And newly promoted teams, they want to get points early. You want to get that monkey off the back, knowing what could happen, what's around the corner. I think I'm going based on Forests and the way that they looked against Arsenal. And I thought if they're matching with Arsenal, then they probably should be too strong for Sheffield. I've gone a 2-1, but a 1-0, but a tight 1-0.
Yeah, I thought Sheffield United worked overtime in a real scrappy game, so I thought Forest may just run over the top of them a little bit more. But I agree with you. I don't think this will be. I actually think this is going to be one of them games that you want to watch, because I reckon it's going to be very open, very free flowing, and I do hope Sheffield United win. Do you know what I mean? I do hope Sheffield United win. I'm going to put that out there.
Yeah. No, I hope they win too, but I'm tipping smartly. And I just got a question. What do you know why there's only 9 games? Because I found that strange when I was looking it up before.
There is a postponement. The Luton game
has
been Luton-Burnley, isn't it? Luton
That's correct.
Game postponed. I believe it is because it's meant to be at Kenilworth. And their ground isn't quite ready yet. So from memory, that it's still about four weeks away. So they are and they had I think, who was it? Who they had? One of the grounds that they're meant to share with. They have already got a game at exactly the same time.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that. And I think that that's going to be pretty dangerous. They're going to want to start getting games out because we know how games can block up in that Christmas period and back into the season.
We only need COVID to come back. You need COVID to come back. And it's game over, bro. It's game over.
Exactly right. All right, next one.
But me and Fazz both tipping Forest to win that one. And then we've got Fulham, Brentford. This game, I think, is interesting. I've gone 1-1. I just think Brentford, I don't think if they had that penalty, that game would have been 2-2. I think the Wissa penalty gave them a little bit, the Mwamba penalty gave them the energy. They looked outclassed for large parts of that game. I think Fulham are just a finicky side, but you are backing Brentford in, and rightly so.
Yeah, I'm just by a body of work. I've really liked how they've played the last 2 seasons and even last week. I think, I just think they'll have a bit too much quality. I can see kind of Fulham going 1-0 up, but I think they're just going to have a bit of quality, bit of pace, and they should get the business. 3-1 might be a little bit extreme, but I think they'll get the business, do the business.
Mate, I think it should be a ripper. And then we've got Liverpool, who get a chance to flex their muscle against Bournemouth at Anfield. We've both tipped identical here. You know, what I will say, that first game I watched of Liverpool, I feel like Salah is going to have a big year. And I feel like it was there or thereabouts for him. He just didn't quite get going. I feel like he could have a big year. And I think this might be the Salah effect this week.
Yeah. I think, just stock standard 3-0. I think they'll do similar to what City did last week in their opening game against Burnley. They'll just flex their muscles early and see it out. Good shout.
Should be an interesting one. And Fazz got excited with this one. Wolves obviously haven't impressed him after the 0-1 loss to my team. I've given him a bit more respect, 3-1 to Brighton. You've gone Deserby Ball, absolutely ripping him apart. I agree with you. I think Wolves will cop a hammering from one side, though, in the next couple of weeks.
Look, I've got to be honest. That was a typo by me. I was actually going 4-0, but I was sending you my. No, it's all good. I'll stick by it. I was actually, because I was. For those who don't know, I am a teacher, and I was kind of sending you my scores whilst teaching. And yeah, I think Fat Fingers the 7. Look, I'll stick with the 7-0. I'll stick with the 7-0. I did. They're great, Brighton, and I think they're just going to do the business. And the Wolves, they're going to cop a battering at some point. 7's probably a bit much, but yeah, anywhere between that 3 to 7.
Mate, you'll be a genius if that comes out 7-0. 7-0, I tell you. I tell you. And then my United, we go all the way to London to go and see Ange, South Melbourne icon, the South Melbourneian Pep, they call him, I've heard. You've gone 1-0. I've gone tight 2-1 victory. Don't rate United, do you, Fazz?
No, you might want to call this the coward's tip, if you will. Generally, what you'll know about me, if I go 1-1, it's a coward's tip, because I just can't pick them either way. So I'll just go a 1-1. United didn't overly impress me last week, but I think Tottenham can bleed goals, so I think United will be better. But yeah, it's a coward's 1-1.
It's going to be a tough one. I'll be interested with how Ten Hag likes to press, the way that they play. Tottenham, it should be on paper a disaster to play that way against Ten Hag, but
yes,
United didn't look quite firing.
This is one of those games where it just would not surprise me if United did a 4-1 or something against them, because, as you said, Ten Hag, the way he plays, he could chew up Ange ball and spit it out. So we'll see.
I agree with Dom. Rashi did look a little bit behind the 6, but you know who I'm going to say? I'm going to say Garnacho to score the winner. But shout out to Dom. He's just had his first bubba recently. So as two fathers to a new father, enjoy, mate. Enjoy the ride.
A lot of people, right? I'll go to some advice. Assuming you're in Australia, with us.
I believe he's in Asia.
Right. Well, either way, similar thing. The best part about being a new dad, is Premier League season, mate. Because don't worry, love, I'll get up for the feeds, I'll get up for the bottles, because there's always a game on. Always a game on, my friend. So yeah, it's a good time of the year to be a new dad. Love it.
Mate, them midnight feeds are the bollocks. I agree with Fazz. Both of my kids, my wife thought I was a saint because I do the 1 a.m. feed and the 4 a.m. feed, and I'd be a football connoisseur.
Oh, mate. It's literally like it's my daughter's birthday today. So literally like 6 years ago, mate, being a dad is easy during Premier League season. You're up, you're feeding, you're burping. Mate, it's spot on.
If anyone's planning on having kids, just conceive them about November.
Perfect time.
November, December. Happy birthday as well, Fazz's daughter. Is she watching the Premier League, Fazz?
When she was a baby, definitely. Every
she likes
Sunday
morning, doesn't she?
Yeah, every Sunday morning. It's a bit of a ritual. We watch the goals over breakfast, and we watch the goals, and before we start, absolutely she is, mate. She loves West Ham. Absolutely. Poor thing.
You got to get her a J Ling shirt. Uncle Pom might buy her a J Ling shirt.
Mate, she'd love it. She does like to pick the ones that stand out as her favorite players. So J Ling's is definitely in the box seat, I reckon.
Mate, I couldn't agree more with her. She's got it spot on. Get J Ling's in. And this is the tie on paper that is the game of the round. Like, if
juicy
based on week one, you'd want these two sides to match up because both of them looked good. We've gone 4-1. I've gone. Fazz has gone clean sheet. Pep. How do you think KDB is going to affect them? Because he is an integral part. No getting away from it. He is, I would say, their best player.
He's a super player. I think it will affect them a little bit, but their squad is absolutely
stupid,
stacked. Yeah. So I think they'll be able to cover him short term until they get someone else in. I found this hard to pick because I genuinely believe, as impressive as Newcastle were, can they go toe to toe with Man City playing like that?
Mate, daily reminder: Palace is the biggest club in London. You know what? I've got to say, as a POM, I've heard a lot of people say biggest club in London, but it's never had Palace before it. I've got to say, like, I did have a fan tell me that QPR is the biggest, and I'm like, what? But I agree with this. You know what? If you are a fantasy player, and me and Fazz are in a very serious dynasty fantasy, Uncle Pom did take Foden, and I've got to admit, I did smile as a United fan. KDB did an ACL, and then smiled when I checked my squad and saw I had P Foden. I was like, double good. But I've gone 4-1. Yeah. I think City will be too good, but
yeah,
I'd love Newcastle to do a number on them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be good. I'll definitely be up for this one. Like I said, my only question mark is if you're going to go toe to toe with Pep, you might get burnt. So let's just see.
And from the tie of the round based on week 1 to probably this is Carlton 2018 versus West Coast Eagles 2023. Yeah. This is the game that, Dom, if the kid does wake up around this time, pretend to be asleep.
Yeah. If this is the only game on, sorry, love, your turn.
Because this could be a disaster. I've been very ambitious because I do love a little bit of Villa. My mate Pete Haywood is a big Villa fan, so I hope Villa find something. You've gone 1-0. It's 0-0 though. We're both wrong.
Yeah. Look, I think Shaun Dyche will do Shaun Dyche things, so they're going to be hard to break down. My thought process is surely Villa can't be as bad as what they were last week. They just simply can't. And if they are, well, big trouble. And I'm willing to call it. Right? If Aston Villa lose this game, alarm bells. There you go. 2 games in. I'll call it because they were putrid last week. And
I do think this time last year you'd sacked Gerrard at this point, and you were like spot on, like 6 weeks later.
Yeah, I did. I actually, you are right. You are
Fazadamus here. Fazadamus.
You can tell. You can just tell early they were putrid. But I think they'll do enough to get a 1-0 win against I won't say resilient Everton side. I'll say ridiculously frustrating and hard to watch Everton side. So, yeah.
Mate, I think it's good tips. And we've got a few different ones now. We come into the crux now here. I'm going to put a caveat here. I originally had 1-0 West Ham because I watched the second half against Chelsea and I was like, fuck, they look loose down back. And I can see Antonio 88th minute against the run of play goal. But Fazz has gone a draw. I have gone safe. Chelsea win. Fazz, you have a chance in this game based on week 1.
Yeah, I think so. Basically, my thought process around this one was I don't know Chelsea's team. They have 50 players in their squad. I don't know who's going to be running out for them. So I have to just go 1-1. I think West Ham played really well last week. I thought I was quite impressed with West Ham, the post-Rice era. Chelsea didn't impress me, so I thought those 2 things combined. West Ham have made the London Stadium a bit of a fortress in recent times. They're unveiling the cup, so that should give everyone a bit of a buzz. And yeah, I can see. I think it's going to be a 1-1, but I think it'll be the opposite to last week. Chelsea will go 1-up, and West Ham will score the late equaliser.
Oh, mate, it should be a ripper. And good evening to Chels, coming in to learn off us too, mate. Welcome, my friend. Welcome.
Love it. Love it.
We finished the tips, and Pom's gone bold here. Arsenal 3-0, Fazz says. 1-1, Pom says. Fazz. There's two reasons I've tipped this. One,
you go first, please.
Against Forest, I thought they looked poor at breaking a team down. And I feel like that this is all positivity, but I felt like there was a hangover. And I feel like teams are going to seep on it. And Hodgson is a wily old cantankerous boot. Second reason, I'm sick of Arsenal fans, Fazz. I'm going to be honest. It's your fault. I'm your mate. You've baited them, but they are all over my fucking feed every day. Like, honestly. And you know what? Just the humour of City going 5 points clear. 3 points clear would just make my week. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Interesting. Look, hard to argue with that logic. Look, they did look like they're going to struggle to break teams down. To answer your question, Dom, Mikel Antonio and Danny Ings are probably getting the gig, and Jared Bowen actually played a little bit next to Antonio up front. Looks like Moyes is trying to go
Ings is basically just a rebranded Haaland anyway.
Mate, Danny Ings. So I think, Antonio is probably the striker at the moment. I've gone, look, I went the safe one, 3-0 to the Arsenal. But I actually like your logic. Palace is a hard place to go. And it's only a hard place to go because it's a shithole, right? Nothing scary about it. It's just a shithole. So I think, these, big, well, it's true. I call a spade, right? These big, $1 million players go and play at Arsenal. Nah. Drops them by 5%. Showers are cold. The benches are cold.
Yeah. Mate, no, I agree with you. I mean, I also think that it was obvious that Timber and Saliba is the combination. And I still have question marks over Gabriel. And I just think Hodgson's a genius. Like, he's an old football manager. El Paso, mate. Fazz disses places in Melbourne, mate. Selhurst Park is light work for a man of Fazz's caliber.
Yeah, mate. You just want to hear what I say about Geelong.
Brisbane.
Mate. Selhurst is it just comes naturally, but good colours. Palace have good colours. That's about it.
Good colours. I mean, the perfect colours, I suppose, for you, Fazz, just in the wrong order, aren't they?
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Nah, look, I think, their defense really worries me that Timber's gone down. They won't obviously have a replacement in time before the game, but they will need to get a replacement in because I agree, you can't trust some of their centre backs.
Mate, I agree with you. And what I'll do as well, I totally forgot to do this. The update on the tipping league at the moment. Unbelievably, Ethan K, you were in chat earlier, he got 10 right with one off the margin in the first round, which is absolutely insane tipping for week one. Got a full clean slate, tipping 3 draws and the wins. Not too sure how you did it, Ethan. In at second, me and Shane with 8 out of 10. Harley 7 with Sakamoto rollers, Peter V and King Calvin, and then the rest of you, there's a big race. My wife third from bottom with 6, Navy Blue Spirit and Taylor on 5. But Ethan, that's ridiculous. 10 out of 10, mate 10 out of 10. That's outrageous, to be fair.
Yours to lose from here.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, Ethan, like, did you come back from 2024? Like, the draws you tipped blagged my head because I got 1 draw and I was running around the house naked that I was a genius. 10 out of 10. Southampton is the team. Oh, yeah, so not involved in the Premier League this year. So she's watching from afar. But me and Fazz will be back next week. Thank you very much, everyone. Make sure you set your teams. If you're doing FPL, that starts at 3 a.m. this morning. Don't forget, I always remind you the lockout. Me and Fazz will be back there next week. When one of us gets 9 out of 9 in the tips this week.
Yes,
9 out of 9.
Yeah, 9 out of 9.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah. See ya.